Alright everyone, and welcome back to my career on F106 as Sebastian Vettel. In the previous episode, Seb got promoted despite having a crash in the race and being beaten by his teammate Liuzzi. But yeah, going into the San Marino Grand Prix now then as the #1 driver, with the new driver Scott Speed as Vettel's teammate then, and Liuzzi being dropped after being beaten by the #2 for the first 3 races. But going in then to Q1, and of course Vettel will be one to get a good result for the team's first home race of the season, as across the line he goes in with his first time lapping Q1, and it was 20.7, which was a very good time, and it was enough for him to get straight through then into Q2. His new teammate Speed there qualifying 18th, so he doesn't really look like an improvement on Liuzzi so far, but we'll have to see how the season plays out for him really, as we're going in now into Q2, and Vettel with a very poor first few laps here. He was only did a 28 dead first time around, and then he only improved to a 23 that time, so yeah, it looked like he was trying to get up to speed in Q2, and by the end of the session he was down in 16th place, so he obviously wanted to improve a little bit on that. As across the line he comes in to do his best lap in Q2, and it was only good enough for 15th, but that's still not bad. I mean, he felt he could have done a bit better there, but because he did a 20.7 in Q1, but I don't think he could have really done much better than 15th today, so I think he should be fairly happy with that. As we now go into the grid, and it was for the second race in a row, Fernando Alonso on pole position, Button a very good second in for the Honda team, with Toyota having a very impressive qualifying here, 3rd and 6th for their drivers, Michael Schumacher the top Ferrari in 4th, and Massa once again really not performing that well, which, well, the Ferrari would have expected for their home race. But looking further down, Fisichella not setting a time in Q3 for some reason. Looking further down then, clearing out qualifying Coulthard for the first time this season. There's Vettel in 15th, just ahead of Villeneuve. Rosberg down in 17th, with the new boy Speed in 18th, and once again it's the Midlands and the Super Aguri's on the back 2 rows. So we are then on the grid. You can see a few clouds there, so it could rain at some point in this race. We'll have to wait and find out. But we've got the lights coming on now. And we're away at Imola, and it looks like it's been a good start for Vettel once again. He's getting in behind the 2 Toro Rossos here, and he's looking to the outside, but Coulthard looks like he's covered that one quite well, and yeah, around the outside doesn't look like Vettel's going to be able to gain any place. You can have to watch out behind him as well though. Looks like Villeneuve's lines inside, and there's a bit of wheel banging in fact, but it looks like Vettel's held the position for now. Villeneuve's there still looking, but Vettel's covered it nicely, and through the Villeneuve chicane in fact we go, and it didn't look like he's close enough to look at the Red Bulls here. Oh, but he almost runs into the back of Coulthard in fact there, and that's not what he needed. As they go up the hill now towards Piratella, I think it's called, as he's looking at Coulthard once again and run the outside. At least he'd be trying to. Oh, but there's a bit of contact there, and Vettel's lost his front left tyre. So yeah, that is going to be raced over for him unfortunately, and it's a very abrupt end to what was a short race for Sebastian Vettel unfortunately. And yeah, it'll be his first retirement of his career then, but yeah, it's all part of the learning curve for him, but that's a big disappointment. And yes, it's a Renault 1-2 then for Alonso and Fisichella, and Michael Schumacher on the podium initially for Ferrari. Ralf Schumacher was 4th, with Raikkonen, Button, Trulli and Barrichello running up the points positions, and Montoya then failing to get into the points, with Heidfeld getting his best result of the season in 10th, and Klein there in 11th place. And looking further down, Coulthard there in 12th, beaten by his teammate for the first time this season, with Webber in 13th, and Massa only finishing 14th in the end, so really not a good weekend for him. With Villeneuve in 16th and Rosberg only down in 16th. Speed 17th and on his debut, with the 2 Midlands and 2 Super Aguri's down at the back there, and Vettel's the only retirement. And well, you could have probably guessed from the length of this video that something like that was going to happen, so yeah, unfortunately quite a short episode today then. But we're going to look now at the driver's standings, and it was Alonso then that scored the most points once again with his 2nd win in a row, and it takes him ahead of Raikkonen then in its championship standings. So reigning world champion looking good for his 2nd world title at the moment then. Looking further down, Vettel's dropped to 14th today then with that DNF, so quite a big shame for him then. And you can see a few names moving up there, such as Button at Speed there moving up to 22nd. That's groundbreaking development there as the XC dropped down as well. But it's actually Renault then and Toyota scoring the most points today, and Toyota getting a few places, but Renault have overtaken McLaren now in the constructors, so that is big for them, with Ferrari still in 3rd and Honda still 4th, and you see that Toro Rosso still in 8th, and it's still Sauber, MF1 and Super Aguri that are without points this season. So back in the motorhome now then, and looking on your emails, and yep, Sebastian, you have proved in your performances that you are more than, I can't actually see what that says because my screen's a bit very worthy of a drive, that's what it says. You have 1 or 2 slip-ups, but we are still happy to have you as part of the team, so that's good. That Toro Rosso aren't going to be too hard on him for that. Of course, he has had a pretty impressive start to the season despite that mistake there, but now we're going to turn our attention to the European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. It's the first of Seb's home races now, and he'll be hoping for much better this time. So apologies for the short episode today, but if you enjoyed it nonetheless, then make sure you leave a like, and I'll see you next time for what should be a much better race. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.